can subscribe. Alright. So, this is basically an inverted triangle attack off of a guard pass. A lot of times when you come in, no matter how, whether it's a spider guard thing, you're jamming the leg or something like that, you get inside position, and a lot of times you just pass and you're letting the guy come to turtle and you figure you'll take the back maybe or something like that, or you're just securing side control. But I like to use my shins as a weapon lock against my opponent's arms. So whenever I bring my hips in, I try and get like close tight position here with my knee, and I scrape it up his body so that I get inside position on his arm. Now as I do, I'm going to use just below my knee on my shin to pin his bicep, like this. Now I could let him roll if I wanted to, but I control this at this point, right? So this pulling that way and that way with a strong cross face makes for a really tight position. I always use just below my knee. I never use down by my ankle for a couple of reasons. One is there's a little bit of curve, there's a lot more space by the mat, there's not enough pressure. It's actually also, if I get control down here, you can pull this right in. And actually I've seen somebody's knee get injured from that torque. So you always want to use just below your knee right here. Now I have a straight, strong cross face, and this is wearing out on his biceps, cutting off the blood supply, and it can be really sore on his arm. So when I feel a little bit of resistance from him, I just skip this other knee underneath. Notice this is the key to the position right here. I kick this shin, I try and get it perpendicular to his shoulder line. I don't want to be down here when I'm doing this. The reason is, I'm going to be stepping over for a triangle, and when I do, my shin is parallel. When my hip lifts up, my thigh becomes vertical to the mat. His arm will all of a sudden will escape to the mat, and when I get a triangle, I won't have that arm anymore. So, when I feel that come up, I just keep my knee underneath, I pinch my knees together, and this shin kind of comes vertical. I try and use the ball of my foot here, because it will give me a nice rotation. Try not to have a dead foot. Ball of the foot, I'm going to cut behind his head. And now at this point, he might be controlling a little bit with his hand, he might be trying to pull in. So I'm going to keep my knees pinched together, and I'm just going to push it slightly down. And just as I start to hit the base of his forearm here, it opens his arm up. I keep my knees pinched, and I do a windshield wiping motion as I bring my hip up. So I windshield wipe my feet, come up, tuck his head, and I can come under. Now this is more or less used to just contain his arm as I cross the feet. At this point, you know, I can really, maybe I can finish here, but I've got a nice straight lock attack on his arm on this side. The key to whether this happens as a submission or just a controlling position is his body. If he's relatively flat, then my legs are squeezing him front to back, and not really going to get the triangle. If he's sort of trying to escape the side a little bit, then I'm going to be squishing his shoulder into his neck, and it'll work more as a triangle attack. So one more time. Come in here, I come to the inside, I scrape down his body, and I capture his arm, getting a nice cross face. When he feels the pressure, I feel his arm come up, I skip this knee underneath, foot comes up, knees pinched together. Let's start to scrape down his arm a little bit, just to straighten it, to make sure my foot doesn't get caught. Up the back of his head, getting ready to attack this arm, and then I'm going to windshield wipe as my hip comes over. Boom, cross into the triangle, and attack this arm by. Just like that.